I'm talking about you now directing all the energy towards an external influence. On this time around, what we're talking about, this attack is an attack against the external influence, if you know what I mean, right? This is an attack against the external influence. Your intention is to mute the impact of this person on your marriage. However, the worst happens. All right. This is not what happens usually, guys. What usually happens is that you perpetuate this cycle. What happens is that they start getting defensive for the external influence. They start defending the external influence. All right, they start defending. They get defensive. Like why are you attacking? Because you've made it a point to attack the other person. It could be their sister, it could be a friend, it could be a work husband or wife. I know, right? That shouldn't be in the first place. But the point here is that external influence does exist, and it could come in any form, right? So this defense, now they will find better alliance. Okay, they find an alliance in that external influence rather than with you, and of course that creates distance, and then the cycle goes all over again. I want to go back to what attack means, right? Your frustration becomes visible because you're actively trying to have some kind of connection with your partner, right? You're trying to re-establish your connection with your partner, but it's not happening because you've concluded that it's because of this external influence. The external influence only had a chance to come into your marriage because there was a crack in the wall in the first place. Maybe it wasn't your fault. Maybe it's not your fault in the first place. But the idea here is that I want you to really get is that external influence is like the rain, it's like the sunshine, it's like the weather. They always existed, just in case you didn't know, right? They sometimes they come with a surprise. Sometimes you check the forecast and you could see them. Oftentimes we're just doing live, right? And when it comes, right? But point is, external influence, external factors, these things are always going to be there. It becomes your responsibility to learn how to manage them, right? So managing them, you can imagine how far blame is from that position, right? So you start telling yourself that the marriage would be fine if that friend would just disappear, right? If his friends will stop calling him on Saturday morning or Saturday evening for the outing that you feel is literally destroying your marriage at this point in time. The relative, if they would just stop interfering, that in-law sometimes is that person's mother, right? If they would just stop, right? How about social media? If social media would just stop existing, how realistic is that, right? If social media would just stop filling the person you love with bad ideas, you could just stop social media. How realistic is that? See, it gets worse and worse, right? And the outside influence may be so significant because you feel like that's what's really tampering with your marriage right now. And of course, like I said, you start blaming them, right? Instead of working on what the unresolved issues in your marriage is, you start blaming them. As a matter of fact, you think it's equivalent. You think just addressing all these external forces is equivalent to addressing the unresolved issues. All right. So again, who feels attacked? It's not the person that's not in the room, right? The person that's not in the room, they're not in the room. So the sister, they're not in the room. The children are outside of the door. But now there's an active division between you and the person you're married to, the person you love, right? And a house divided against itself cannot stand. That is a life principle. That has nothing to do with specifically marriage. It's not unique to marriage, this point, right? It's anything in life, right? So your frustration becomes visible, and then you criticize the friend. You insult the family member subliminally, like it wasn't, you didn't mean, but there's a way you said it. There's a condescension in your tone towards that external person that's not in the room, right? You might even throw sarcastic shots all the time. Guess what? Sarcasm in this space in your marriage, condescension, those are all poisons. Those are all anti-seducers. They make matter worse, right? And so sometimes it's just little small little side talk, like just being dismissive of the advisor, like who's that, like we don't care what that person said. Maybe you actually don't care, but again, those side shots at those person, maybe they pushed a social media quote towards you during the week, and then you're dismissive of it, right? You ridicule the complete quote, like this is terrible, this is what's destroying marriages today. No one should be saying decentering to wives. You say things like this, but decentering is not the issue. The issue is that there's an issue with your marriage, right? Sometimes you even go as far as asking them or demanding them that they terminate the relationship with an actual friend, a co-worker. Sometimes you can't say that when it comes to a sister, right? But you might as well just say it. Some of the things you say that about their brother, you might as well just say it. But the point here is that you're resenting that external influence, right? You believe that the exposure to this external influence represents bad influence, and they can feel it. The person you love may be experiencing your behavior as a complete total different thing. They are experiencing you as controlling. See, controlling is not always a direct behavior that you would agree with. It's not always somebody bought a car or somebody bought a different dress or they wore what they're not supposed to wear. Those are obvious stuff. Those are usually not what people mean by controlling. Controlling shows up in the form of how you respond to life issues. See, there were life issues, external factor. How you respond to them is what your partner may be interpreting as controlling. Okay, and that's when we call it defense. Now we're getting into defense, right? So now somebody's being defensive. Who's being defensive? It could actually be both sides being defensive, right? But defensiveness is one quarter of the predictors of divorce. Divorce is that close when your experience in your marriage is full of defensiveness. Okay, remember in all of this, the blame is also criticism, right? I'm going to put that here. Criticism, that's another criticism. Okay, criticism, right? That's one of the predictors right there. So you have not just defensiveness, you already had criticism going on in all of this. Okay, we haven't gotten to the contempt yet because it's not on the surface. It doesn't look like it's you against your partner. As far as you're concerned, it's those external factors that are coming into your marriage to destroy your marriage. But now it's completely broken down and you need to save the marriage. And the way you want to do it is to blame these external factors. Is that working out? How is it working out for you, right? So anyway, they begin defending the outsider instead of examining the marriage. Okay, the discussion is no longer about your marriage, right? It's whether the advice was right or wrong in the first place. You think that the crazy advices they're getting from outside is wrong. Your partner think they found value in it, right? If your partner finds value in the advices they're getting from outside, from their mother, from their sister, from their friend, from a work wife, they usually don't disclose that part to you, right? It's just an innocent person they go to lunch with, right? But if those advices are much more valuable to them than and you think they're wrong, so now you are effectively in the third part of the four predictors of divorce. What do we call it? We call it contempt. I'm going to put that here, okay? I'm going to put that somewhere here. Just put that here, all right? So, contempt. So, we have now a third one here. Let me put numbers on them so you can see them clearly. This guy right here is 4. No, this is 2. We had a 2 here, right? We had a 2 here, and we have another one here. We have 1 here. The last one is just that close. Anyway, let's continue in the cycle. So defensiveness. They get defensive. You're also getting defensive, right? In different ways, you're getting defensive. But bottom line, they're defending the other person. right? They're defending the external factor, the external advice, the quotes, the video that they send to you. At one point, they stop sending you videos because you always have a weird contempt driven interpretations to them.